Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the Holtzman's Gorilla Survival Knife. This is the D2 Silverback. Alright everybody, welcome back. So I want to open this up for you. I want to unbox it sort of. Of course I've already opened it. But I want to show you what comes inside with this kit and why I like this knife a whole lot. And I was really surprised, I recently did a review of their neck knife, and that really exceeded my expectations for a neck knife. So I wanted to try out one of their larger size knives, and this is their bushcraft survival kind of size knife. And that's what I ended up with. So let's open up the box, check it out. It is a little magnetic kind of clasp there. One of the best things about this is if you're new to prepping and new to knives and survival and all that, and you know nothing about knives, the first thing they have in the box here is how to maintain the knife and the correct way to sharpen it. Boy, I could have used that when I got my first knife. Because I tell you, I got a sharpening stone and I went to town on it, and I could not, it was a dulling stone because I just kept making it duller and duller. The knife is very well packed up here, and this is the kit here. This is what you'll get inside. So I'm going to put that up so you can take a look at it. So right off the bat, it's pretty impressive. Now, if it looks nice and doesn't work, then it's no good to us, right? Well, judging by the other knife that I reviewed from them, it's going to work quite well. So let's get into what we get in here. The first thing you're going to be getting is the knife. And the first thing you're going to notice, I'm going to give you a good close-up look at this. At the palm swells, at the G10 scales, everything. It is a full tang knife. It does have a rounded pommel on the back. Does have a loop for a lanyard, which is in there. We'll get into the accessories in a sec. The first thing you're going to notice about this is when you put your hand around it, it's going to feel like they custom made it for your hand. Seriously, this is not just YouTube reviewer hype. I was shocked when I put this in my hand. You can see where my fingers fit in there perfectly. And I put it in my hand, and I went like that, and I'm like, whoa! So this is easily one of the most comfortable knives I've never used. The palm swells are perfect. The G10 scales are nice. They're just aggressive enough to give you a little traction, but they're not, harsh or going to give you hot spots later. Everything seems to be very well rounded and smoothed off and taken care of. Even the sharpening choil is done well. It's not like right in the middle of the edge there. It's right on the edge there. So it really feels great in your hand. It does have a little bit of a drop point there. That isn't sharpened at that edge on the tip. So there you go. That's the knife. You will get inside, all with matching G10, the Ferro Rod. This is one of those slow-burning Ferro Rods that lets off those big gobs of sparks that just kind of sit there and burn, so that's kind of cool. You will get a striker. Now, the reason they give you a striker, I want you to take a look at this thing. There you go. The reason they give you a striker is because the spine on this knife is not conducive to Ferro Rod striking. It's not super sharp. Will it work? Yeah, in a pinch it'll work. But it's not as sharp. And again, if you don't like that and you don't want to carry the striker, you can always take a Dremel tool and a grinding wheel carefully and grind it a little flatter. It is D2 steel, so it's going to be a little difficult, but you can do it. It's not going to be that horrible. You will get a lanyard. Again, I'm not super big on lanyards. That's really a personal preference thing. You don't really need it if you got a decent kit and a good way to store everything. You will get this guy here, a little hex wrench, and that primarily is for your sheath. So if you want to loosen things up a bit, this comes very tight, which is a good thing, but if you want to loosen things up a little bit, you can. You can take off this stuff if you don't want it, If you want to just carry the knife, you can remove that and take the striker and the hole for the ferro rod out. It does have this little leather strap, which will go around the knife and kind of give it a little more security, holding it in place. Does come with a nice tech lock on the back. That's really nice. What I like about this is that I can snap this on my belt, go outside, do some outdoor work, or go out of my tent and do some kind of work outside, and then just take it right off. I don't have to undo it through my belt loops and everything. It just snaps on and off that easily. Yet it's pretty secure. I would say it's about a 2-inch, 2.5-inch wide area in there for a belt. So definitely cool little upgrades on this. Really, really nice looking. Let's put everything inside here and I'll show you what it looks like. And yes, the sheath is going to be tough in the beginning. It's going to be tight. You can loosen it up if you want. Okay, there's that. And here is the Ferro Rod. So there you go. There's your kit, all ready to go. So let's talk a little bit about the knife. The knife is 8.6 inches long. It's got a 4-inch D2 steel blade. The thickness is 0.136. And the HRC hardness scale, it's on about a 58 to a 60. Comes out of the box razor sharp. That was one of the things I really liked. I got it and I wasn't like, oh yeah, I got to put one of my edges on it. No, it already had one of my edges on it. I'll take it out. It already had a really nice sharp edge on it. And of course we're going to be testing that out, when we get outside in a minute. You get all these accessories. It's a really nice gift box. If you're giving this to somebody who loves the outdoors, maybe their first knife that's a little bit better quality, than what they're using, definitely cool little system. And it looks really, really nice in the box as well. So if you are going to present this to somebody, definitely a good way to go. So in the box, like I showed you, you're going to get the knife, the sheath, the leather strap on it, the ferro rod, the ferro scraper, paracord, and Allen wrench. Really can't beat it. Definitely a good little system. So the first thing we're going to do as far as tests go, and I'm going to leave this stuff in here because we're not going to be using that outside, is just some jute twine. And I want to show you how incredibly sharp this knife is. I have some jute twine here that I've kind of quadrupled up. I didn't have paracord with me, and I don't want to cut up that paracord just yet, the sheath there. So we're going to just take this, take all four, and tear right through it. I mean, that was like nothing. So definitely comes sharp right out of the box. If we're going to test some paper, we get some paper here. Right out of there. Super, super sharp. No problem at all. Definitely a sharp edge on there. And that's without me touching it, stropping it, anything. I just wanted to do it straight out of the box to show you just how well it works. So, for our next bit of testing, it's going to require us going outside. And we're going to try it out. So, let me get everything set up, and I will meet you outside. Alright, so we're outside here. I got a piece of wood. You might have seen this wood yesterday when I chainsawed it up. What we're going to do is try and start a fire in this little can I made some time ago. It's basically a Progresso soup can and a 2-quart paint can. You drill some holes in here, some holes on the bottom on the side, and some on the top, and you get a wood gasifying stove. And the paint cans fit each other. The cans fit perfectly inside each other. It's nice and snug. So that's what we're going to start a fire in today. First thing I do is got to chop up this wood. So we're going to get the knife out and see how well it batons. And again, I'm holding it here. It's just so comfortable in my hand. All right. Through that. Right through it. Definitely easy to get through this wood without a problem. Whoop. We got dropsy fingers today. There we go. You get the first few initial whacks, and the next thing you know, you're through it, no problem. So that's really cool. All right, even went straight through a knot. Look at that. Straight through a knot there without a problem. And the edges, of course, still super sharp, no problems. So I'm going to baton up the rest of the wood, and then we're going to do some feather sticking, and we're going to tip test it as well, using some of this wood to see how the tip holds up when I split the wood with it. All right, as you can see, I've got firewood going in there. Got it all set up. I'm going to be sticking the rest of it in here. And so far, it's been working very, very well. Getting through this took me only a few minutes, and seems to be doing really, really good. Edge is still super sharp. Not having any issues with that. There's what it looks like after batoning a little bit, but other than that, perfectly good. So, I've got a little board here that I'm going to be putting my tinder on to start a fire and dump it into that. But for now, I want to do a tip test on this and see how well the tip held up. Got a piece of wood there. We're just going to dig it in there. See if we can split it. Yep. No problem. Digging the tip in there. Splits it real, real well. Hope I caught that on camera. As you can tell, there's no damage to the tip, even in this. Tip is still straight, and tip is still sharp. So, while not an extreme abuse test, I've always hated people that do knife tests and start them out with taking the knife and slamming it into a rock and going, oh, look, the edge rolled, it's garbage. You know, let's be realistic here. It's a knife. It's made for what we're going to be doing with it. We're probably not going to be abusing the heck out of it. So that's the point of having it, you know. So let me get some fat wood shavings going here. I'll put some of this stuff on here too. And we'll get some fat wood shavings. Now, I don't know how well the back is going to shave because it's not super sharp. It seems to be doing pretty well. Yeah. Seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, it's not as sharp as a really razor sharp 90-degree spine, but it's doing okay. Let's do a quick little, let's take this and do some feather sticks with it, if we can. I'm not the best at feather sticking, but yeah. Actually, let me get a little piece of wood that's probably more conducive to it. Over here. There we go. Okay. Nice, nice shavings of wood on this. You can see how sharp the knife still is. I'm just making some short little ones here, short little curls. Not doing a ton of stuff, but you can see that, you know, works well enough even for somebody like me who isn't the best at feather sticking, and this is still wet wood, so we're not going to burn this. This is from the trees I did the other day. So, we got a nice little pile of tinder going here. I'm going to get some more fat wood shavings on here, and then we're going to try out the scraper. Alright, as with any new ferro rod, you're going to have to scrape off some of the black coating. I've been over here doing that. There we go. Gonna get it going. There we are. I'll put it up on this here. And dump it into our fire. There we go. As you can see, that was fairly simple. The striker takes a little getting used to because it's small. If you're used to using big, huge, humongous strikers, it may be a little difficult for you to get used to it. But that started that fire up real quick. And there you go. So I'm going to let this fire burn out. And then we'll go inside and I will give you the final points on it and let you know what I think of it so far. I'm liking the knife a lot and the accessories. Alright, we're back inside now. After I waited for the fire to go out in that little stove. And by the way, if you guys are interested in making one of these, I will link a video down below where I made this one. It's very, very simple. I just use some drywall patch or whatever you call it for a pot rest. Anyway, after I waited for that to burn out, and that's all burned out and cold now, I batoned the rest of that big hunk of wood that I chopped up in my chainsaw video yesterday, and decided to just go for it. You know, so I'll have it ready for my next fire. And this is the result. You know, no damage. A lot of sticky, dirty resin and stuff, but as you can see, the tip is perfect. No warping on it or bending or anything. Yeah. So it definitely held up to basic camp tasks. Now, that was by no means a abusive review where I chopped down a redwood with it or something, but it was a good basic review of the basic features of the knife. Now, to clean it up, they say to clean it up after every use, and I'm going to show you what I use. But before I clean it up, I just want to show you the edge. And this is why I like the D2 steel. It really holds its edge well. That's still super sharp after doing all that batoning out there. No problem whatsoever. Still super, super sharp. Even as dirty and sticky and everything as it is. And I haven't touched it up since I came in, so that's pretty much it. What I use generally is I take a paper towel and I take some Hops number 9. It's got oil in it. Hoppies, whatever you want to call it. Hops or hoppies. And I just wipe off the fat wood stickiness and whatever. And I will clean this up and probably strop it after I'm done with the video. But all in all, definitely a good knife to start out with. And even for you folks that are a little more experienced and have been doing this a while, this would definitely serve you well. I am going to use this in the channel whenever we need to chop up wood or do any knife-related stuff. We'll see how well it holds up. But so far, I'm really liking it. And the whole kit altogether, not a bad deal. It's very well made. It's very balanced. Again, the fit in the hand is just, like I said, you'll just drop it in there, and it goes right where your fingers are. and right into your hand, and it just feels so right. The palm swells are just perfect on each side. So definitely a cool little knife. Definitely a cool set too. Now the price, $99.99, $100 for the whole kit. Now if you go out and get yourself a bunch of questionable knives, you find some that roll on the edge, you find some that don't work well, maybe you're paying $15 and it's the best knife ever until it breaks. So instead of doing a bunch of searching and trying to find the best deal, you already have a really good quality knife here, and you already have all your tools with you. Now I will say that I'll probably take a file to the edge of the striker. For some reason my striker wasn't very rough, so I'm going to take a file on there and just kind of flatten it out and make it a little bit rougher. It did light very well, but I noticed when scraping off the black material off the ferro rod that it took a while. And normally, when I use a high-speed carbon steel drill bit, it's no problem. So I'm going to take a little, it just seems a little rounded for some reason on the top here, but the edges are sharp. So I'm probably just going to flatten that off. But other than that, didn't need anything else. I really, really like the knife. I like the fact that you can also carry this without, if you want to take off the ferro rod, the tech lock, and that, and just stick this in your pocket, you can. All these screws are removable with the material that's in there, the little device that's in there, that little screwdriver. So definitely a cool item. I am really pleased with it. I will put a link down below where you can pick it up. They do have another version of this in black. It's slightly different. It doesn't have the drop point, slightly different shape. But I don't believe it's D2 steel, but I'm not sure. But this is the one I'm reviewing today, so I know this is D2 steel. I know it definitely held an edge well. I mean, I did a lot of batoning out there, and that edge is still super sharp, as you can tell by the paper test. So I am pleased with it. I'm very happy with it. Like I said, $100. You don't need to hunt around for the best ferro rod, then the best striker, then this, that, then get a sheath. By the time you're all done, you'd probably spend a lot more than that. And it comes in a nice kit. So if you're thinking about gifts for people, it's definitely a cool gift for somebody who enjoys the outdoors. Anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. Don't forget to check our link down below. This will be in our store down below, and you can check it out there. Don't forget our Food for Patriots link as well. Down in the link below, that's preparewithiridium.com. If you're interested in getting some 25-year shelf life freeze-dried food, and after what we saw happen in Texas, it might not be a bad idea to get it. We have $70 off the 4-week kit, and I believe it's $45 or $30 off the 2-week kit. So check them out down there. Don't forget to check out our Thrive Life link as well, and our freeze-dried wholesalers link. I've got many more videos coming up from him. I've got more stuff to make, so we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing an outside cooking video with that, so don't forget to check it out. See if there's some food in there that you want to get stocked up on. Anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.